Ready?
Chess for the Youth by the Vultures, a.k.a. Sophia Noel, Elena Swarovski, Drew Manis, Noah Spector, and Clem Palovich, who isn't here.
Wait, Noah Spector's in your group?
Okay. First, some history and basics. The history of chess spans some 1,500 years. The earliest predecessors of the game originated in India, prior to the 6th century AD. From India, the game spread to Persia. When the Arabs conquered Persia, chess was taken up by the Muslim world and subsequently spread to southern Europe.
These are the basics of chess. Chess is a game played by two opponents, and they have opposite sides of the board. And it's an 8x8 board, 64 squares. And it's white and black squares, and it's like a checkerboard, if you can imagine that. And everyone has 16 pieces. They have a king, which is like your most important piece, but we'll learn about that later. You have a queen, two rooks, which are the castles, two bishops, two knights, and you have 8 pawns along the front line. The goal of the game is to checkmate the other king by making him so he can't move. So the checkmate happens when the king can't move without being captured.
So these are some diagrams that show how the pieces move.
Okay, so here's how the pieces move. Pawn, which is the elf, we'll say for these kindergartners, on the first turn it can move 1 or 2 spaces forward, and then after that it gets tired and it wants to move only 1 space. The bishop, which we didn't change it, but it's called the Garungi Gus now, moves diagonally across the board. And the rook, as we'll call it the castle, moves straight up, down, and sideways, so it can't move diagonally. The knight jumps 2 spaces in any direction, then 1 in a different direction, so it makes like an L. The king, which we'll call the cross, it can move 1 square at a time, but in any way. And the queen can move in any direction, but cannot change direction.
Okay. Castling. Once you have a king and a rook, or in 2 or 3 empty spaces apart, the king moves 2 or 3 spaces to the right. Then moves the rook to the king's original spot. This only works if the king hasn't moved in the game. Promotion. Get the pawn to the last row of the other side of the board, and you can promote the pawn for anything but a king or another pawn. En passant. This is where if a pawn moves 2 spaces on its first turn, and the opposing pawn is right next to it, the opposing pawn can attack as if the pawn had moved 1 space. Click here for a demonstration.
Wicked. Or suffer. Click the wrong thing. You shall suffer. Didn't see the word.
That's my drive.
Alright.
Oh well.
Okay, chess tactics and how to do it. Continued. Touch move. When this is called in the start of a game, if you touch a piece, you must move that piece, no matter what. And a fork is when one piece can attack multiple pieces at once, but it can only eat one of the pieces. And recording your game. To do this, you need a chess score sheet and record every move that happens. There is one on the next slide. More on this.
Write the first letter of the name of the piece. Write an X if they capture the piece. This was taken from the bishop's angry X's. Write the coordinates. Write a plus if the king is in danger but can escape. Check, or a plus plus if the king cannot be saved. Checkmate. A plus plus means that the game is done. The king must move out of check.
Abbreviations. Since there are so many elves, don't write down an abbreviation regardless of the individual cookie preferences. Write a K for the cross and a Q for the crown and a B for the frowner, or and an R for the castle. If they didn't get those letters, they would have unleashed the fury of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff. Since the king is greedy, he took all K's for himself, used N's for a knight instead.
Our solution was to come up with fun stories. Our solution was to come up with fun stories with pleasant themes little children can relate to. The simple stories make it easier for kids to remember the often confusing rules of chess.
So this is the elf, castle, horse, and
Whoops, I was supposed to say it here, but oh well.
The pawn knows there's a cookie on the side of the board. He just knows. So he wants to get to the other side. He can either jump or walk his first move, and then slowly walks forward. If someone's in the front, left or right space in front of him, he shoulders them out of the way. But he is stopped if someone is directly in front of him. The rook is always positive and great at addition. He loves addition so much he moves in the plus sign direction. Forward, backwards, left, and right. Diagonal? No.
Knight loves to sing. You can commonly find him singing la la la. He loves that tune so much that he rides his horse in an L shape. He can also jump over people when he sings a high note.
okay.
The
That's
bishop is a grumpy dust. The only thing he likes is painting X's everywhere. He even puts sponges on his shoes, dips them in paint, and skates around. The paint makes an X sign because he only moves diagonally.
So, this is your main king. He was once a great warrior, but years have had their effect on him. Now he's lazy and cross and grumpy. So he's so lazy that he doesn't even bother moving more than one space in any direction. But the kingdom still likes him, and they will protect him for anything. And if he's gone, the entire kingdom falls, and you lose. So Queen of the Crown is like the more serious ruler. She can move as many spaces as you want in any direction. But she can't move in L's like the knight, and she can't jump. She has to go. She's stopped by pieces, and she can knock them out.
Here are some chess worksheets. So most kids learn better with worksheets by doing like made-up problems for them. So there are different chess websites where people can print out worksheets. Here, citations. Thanks for watching.
You guys ripped us off.